Picture a man, tall and lean, his beard flecked with gray, his voice soft but venomous, sitting in a cave lit by lantern glow, plotting a war against the West. This is Osama bin Laden, the architect of 9/11, a name that became a synonym for terror, a ghost who haunted the world's nightmares for over a decade. Welcome to Secrets Unleashed, Truth Seekers, where we don't just tell stories, we rip them open, exposing the lies, the costs, and the questions no one dares ask. We're diving into the manhunt for bin Laden, a shadow war that stretched from the 1998 US Embassy bombings to a midnight raid in Abbottabad, Pakistan, on May 2, 2011. This isn't just a chase. It's a saga of CIA spooks, drone strikes, moral quagmires, and a world reshaped by fear. In 2025, we're not here to parrot the Pentagon's victory lap. We're here to ask, was bin Laden's death justice, or a spark for new wars? Why did it take 13 years, and what's still hidden in the shadows? Buckle up. We're hunting the world's most wanted man. It's September 11th, 2001, and the world fractures. 2 planes slam into the World Trade Center, a third into the Pentagon, a fourth into a Pennsylvania field. 2,977 dead. The US stunned, its skyline choked with ash. Al-Qaeda, bin Laden's terror network, claims the attack, his face soon plastered on every TV, his words vowing death to America. The US, led by a shaken George W. Bush, launches the war on terror, vowing to smoke bin Laden out of his caves. Afghanistan falls, the Taliban scatters, but bin Laden slips away, a phantom in the Hindu Kush. For 13 years, from 1998's embassy bombings to 2011's raid, the CIA, FBI, and SEALs chase him, burning $1 trillion, thousands of lives, and America's moral compass. In 2025, we feel the weight of that day. But question, did the hunt heal the wound, or tear it wider? Bin Laden wasn't just a terrorist. He was a symbol, a man who turned faith into a weapon, wealth into war. Born in 1957 to a Saudi billionaire family, he rejected luxury for jihad, fighting Soviets in Afghanistan by 1979, founding Al-Qaeda in 1988. His attacks, 1998 embassies, 2000's USS Cole, 9/11, killed thousands, his tapes taunting the West. The manhunt, starting after the embassy bombings, wasn't just about one man, it was about power. America's to crush terror, bin Laden's to defy it. The CIA's Alex Station, drones over Pakistan, SEAL Team 6's bullets, all aimed at his head, yet he vanished, again and again. In 2025, we see his shadow, but ask, was he a mastermind, or a figurehead the US built to justify a forever war? This story isn't clean. Nobody's hands are. The US's hunt, fueled by rage, birthed Guantanamo, waterboarding, and wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, costing 7,000 US troops, 170,000 civilians, and trust in the American dream. Bin Laden's jihad killed indiscriminately, from New York commuters to Nairobi clerks, his ideology spawning ISIS, Al-Shabaab, endless clones. Both sides hid truths, CIA black sites, bin Laden's ties to Saudi elites, Pakistan's double game. In 2025, we're skeptical. Ex-posts screaming about redacted files, drone collateral, and why Abbottabad's compound sat untouched for years. Our mission is to trace this hunt, bin Laden's rise, the global dragnet, the final raid, the war on terror's crucible, and what it means now. Let's dive into the desert, where shadows don't lie, but they don't talk either. The manhunt wasn't just a pursuit. It was a mirror to a world gripped by fear and vengeance. After the 1998 embassy bombings, the US fired missiles, missed bin Laden, and woke a sleeping giant. Post 9/11, Afghanistan's invasion toppled the Taliban. But Tora Bora's caves let bin Laden slip into Pakistan, a supposed ally whose tribal lands became his shield. The CIA's tactics, spies bribing warlords, drones bombing villages, NSA nets scooping billions of calls, were a tech marvel, yet failed for years. Bin Laden's couriers outsmarting satellites. Pakistan's ISI paid $20 billion, played both sides, their safe houses hiding Al-Qaeda's elite. In 2025, we see the chessboard, but wonder, why did allies betray, and what did they know? The hunt's moral cost is a stain that won't fade. Guantanamo, opened 2002, caged 780 men, 26 innocent. Their torture, waterboarding, stress positions, yielding lies more than leads. Drone strikes, 20,500 by 2011, killed 900 civilians. Each death a recruiting ad for Al-Qaeda. The CIA's fake vaccine drive in Abbottabad, 2010, snagged bin Laden's DNA, but gutted Pakistan's polio fight, thousands dying in distrust's wake. Bin Laden's attacks, killing 5,000 across a decade, justified the rage, but his ideology, anti-West, anti-modern, spread like wildfire, undeterred by his death. In 2025, we tally the pain, asking, did the hunt stop terror or plant its seeds deeper? The final raid, Operation Neptune Spear, May 2, 2011, was no Hollywood ending. SEAL Team 6, 24 elite operators, breached a $1 million compound, shot bin Laden dead, and vanished, leaving Pakistan humiliated, the world cheering, and conspiracies brewing. No body shown, no video released. 4,000 documents locked. Why? Pakistan's denial, they didn't know, crumbles under Abbottabad's proximity to their military academy. The CIA's claim, torture led to the courier, falls apart. Signals intelligence, the real hero. In 2025, X threads buzz with doubt. Was bin Laden really there? Or was the raid a story to close a war? This journey, bin Laden's rise, the CIA's chase, Pakistan's games, the war on terror's scars, isn't just history. It's a warning. In 2025, drones kill from Nevada, NSA spies on billions, Al-Qaeda's heirs bomb markets, and governments hide truths, from redacted files to secret wars. The $1 trillion spent, the lives lost, echo choices we make now. AI wars, surveillance states, trust eroded. We're not here to judge bin Laden alone. We're judging the systems, US, Pakistani, global, that let him thrive, then chased him at any cost. Secrets Unleashed is about truth, not triumph, and we're diving deep to find it. The shadow rises, bin Laden's ascent. Before Osama bin Laden was the face of global terror, before his name echoed in situation rooms and nightmares, he was a boy in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, born March 10, 1957, a lanky kid with a quiet voice and a fire in his soul. This journey isn't just a biography. It's the origin story of a man who turned wealth into war, faith into fury, and a fractured world into his battlefield. We're tracing bin Laden's ascent from a billionaire's son to Al-Qaeda's mastermind, through the Afghan jihad, the birth of a terror network, and the attacks. 1998's U.S. Embassy bombings, 2000's USS Cole, 2001's 9/11, that shook history. In 2025, we're not here to mythologize or vilify. We're ripping open the forces that forged him, the allies who ignored him, and the failures that let him grow. Osama's childhood was a paradox of privilege and piety, a world of marble palaces and strict devotion. Born the 17th of 52 children to Osama bin Laden, a Yemeni immigrant who built a construction empire worth $5 billion, Osama grew up in Jeddah's elite circles, his family dining with Saudi royals. His father, a self-made tycoon, paved Mecca's roads, rebuilt mosques, and won King Faisal's trust, his wealth rivaling Aramco's oil barons. Osama, raised by his Syrian mother, Aliyah, after his parents' 1967 divorce, was an outlier. Tall by 12, 6 feet by 16, his gangly frame hunched over Quranic verses while siblings chased sports cars. At Al-Thager Model School, Jeddah's Eton, he excelled in math but gravitated to religious studies, memorizing the Quran by 14, his soft voice reciting surahs with a zeal that unnerved peers. In 2025, we see the roots, but ask, why did a boy with everything choose a path of nothing? The Saudi kingdom, oil-rich and rigid, shaped Osama's worldview. The 1970s were a boom. Crude prices soared, skyscrapers rose, Western expats flooded Riyadh. But beneath the glitz, Wahhabism, the kingdom's austere Islam, demanded loyalty. Osama's teachers, many Muslim Brotherhood exiles from Egypt, preached jihad against secular regimes, their lessons seeping into his teenage mind. At 17, he married his cousin, Najwa, a Syrian. Their 1974 wedding a nod to tradition, her dowry modest despite his wealth. King Abdulaziz University, where he enrolled in 1976 for business administration, was a hotbed of radical thought. Professors like Abdullah Azzam, a Palestinian cleric, called for holy war, their words electrifying Osama. In 2025, we feel the pull, but question. Why did Saudi elites, US allies, let these voices thrive? The 1979 Soviet invasion of Afghanistan was Osama's crucible, a spark that lit his life's fire. At 22, a lanky idealist with a $25 million inheritance, he landed in Peshawar, Pakistan. By December, drawn by Azzam's call to fund Mujahideen against Soviet tanks. Peshawar, a dusty frontier city, buzzed with Afghan refugees, CIA operatives, and Saudi cash. $3 billion from Riyadh matched by US dollars, funneled through Pakistan's ISI. Osama, no fighter, was a financier. His family's construction firm shipping bulldozers to carve mountain roads for rebels. By 1980, he'd raised $10 million, built clinics in Kandahar, and bankrolled camps in Khost. His charisma, quiet, almost shy, drawing Arab volunteers from Yemen to Morocco. In 2025, we see his role, but probe. Did the CIA, arming these fighters, see the jihadists they were feeding? Osama's Afghan years, 1979 to 1989, were a transformation, a decade that hardened a dreamer into a warrior. He joined Azzam's Maktab al-Khidamat, MAC, a recruitment hub, wiring $500,000 monthly to Mujahideen commanders like Gulbuddin Hekmatyar, a brutal warlord. By 1984, Osama fought his first battle, Jaji, a hilltop clash, surviving Soviet airstrikes. His legend born among Arabs who called him the Sheikh. He built Al-Masada, the Lion's Den, a coast camp training 2,000 fighters. its tunnels dug by his family's machines. His wealth bought loyalty, $1,000 stipends for fighters, Toyota trucks for leaders. But his vision grew darker, clashing with Azzam's focus on Afghanistan. In 2025, we track his shift, asking, why did allies ignore his growing ambition? The 1988 founding of Al-Qaeda was Osama's leap, a pivot from Afghan resistance to global jihad. In Peshawar, with Azzam and Egyptian doctor Ayman al-Zawahiri, he formed the Base, a network to unite 5,000 Arab veterans against the West. America, their new foe, for backing Israel, propping Saudi royals, and stationing troops in the Gulf post-1979. Al-Qaeda's manifesto, typed in a mud-walled room, called for purifying Muslim lands. Its cells planned for Sudan, Yemen, Somalia. Osama's $25 million funded camps, his Rolodex, princes, clerics, ex-soldiers, built a web. Azzam's 1989 assassination, likely by Zawahiri's allies, left Osama unchallenged, his vision now global. In 2025, we see the birth, but demand. How did the CIA, watching Peshawar, miss this? Sudan, from 1991 to 1996, was Al-Qaeda's laboratory, a safe haven under Islamist leader Hassan al-Turabi. Osama, exiled from Saudi Arabia in 1991 for criticizing U.S. troops in the Gulf War, landed in Khartoum with $50 million, buying farms, tanneries, and a highway contract to mask terror. He trained 3,000 fighters in Darunta, planned strikes, and forged ties with Somalia's warlords. His $10 million fueling 1993's Black Hawk Down ambush, 18 U.S. dead. Zawahiri, his deputy, plotted in Cairo, while Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, a Kuwaiti engineer, joined, sketching 9/11's blueprint. Sudan's chaos, famine, civil war, hid Al-Qaeda, but U.S. pressure forced Osama's 1996 expulsion to Afghanistan. In 2025, we map his moves, but ask, why did Saudi Arabia, America's friend, let him slip away? Afghanistan, under Taliban rule from 1996, was Osama's fortress, a lawless land where Al-Qaeda thrived. Kandahar's hills hid 20 camps, 10,000 trainees by 1998, learning bombs, snipers, and propaganda. Osama, now 41, lived simply, mud huts, no AC. His 4 wives, 8 kids, trailing him. His tapes, recorded on Sony camcorders, aired on Al Jazeera, vowing crusaders would bleed. The Taliban, led by Mullah Omar, took his $20 million yearly, ignoring U.S. demands. Al-Qaeda's network grew. London recruiters, Yemen cells, Malaysian financiers. Its budget, $30 million, dwarfing CIA estimates. In 2025, we see his power, but question, why did Pakistan's ISI, US-funded, shield his Taliban hosts? The 1998 U.S. embassy bombings were Al-Qaeda's declaration, a strike that woke the world. On August 7th, in Nairobi, Kenya, and Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, truck bombs, 2,000 pounds of TNT, detonated at 10:30 a.m., killing 224, injuring 4,500, mostly Africans. Osama, in Kandahar, had approved the plan, crafted by Fazul Muhammad, a Comoran chemist. The CIA's Alex station, tracking bin Laden since 1996, was blindsided, their $50 million budget chasing ghosts. Clinton's response, Operation Infinite Reach, 66 Tomahawk missiles on Afghan camps, a Sudan factory mishit, killed 20, missed Osama, his tape mocking weak horses. In 2025, we feel the devastation, but probe. How did bin Laden, FBI listed, strike so boldly? The 2000 USS Cole attack was a gut punch, proof of Al-Qaeda's reach. On October 12th, in Aden, Yemen, a fiberglass boat, packed with 600 pounds of C4, rammed the $1 billion destroyer, killing 17 sailors, wounding 39. Osama, via satellite phone, had greenlit the plot, led by Abdulrahim al-Nashiri, a Saudi veteran. The attack, costing $500,000, was rehearsed in Yemen's ports, divers training for months. The U.S. Navy, complacent in a safe harbor, scrambled, Clinton vowing justice. Alex Station, now 30 strong, traced funds to Dubai, but Yemen's police, corrupt, stalled probes. Osama's tape, aired October 20th, praised martyrs, his fame soaring. In 2025, we see the audacity, but ask, why was the CIA always a step behind? 9/11, September 11th, 2001, was bin Laden's apocalypse, a plan that broke the world. 4 hijacked planes, American Airlines 11, United 175, American 77, United 93, crashed into the Twin Towers, Pentagon, and a Pennsylvania field, killing 2,977, injuring 25,000. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Al-Qaeda's engineer, had pitched the $500,000 plot in 1999. Osama approving 19 hijackers, trained in Kandahar, led by Mohammed Atta, an Egyptian architect. The operation, planned in Malaysia, Hamburg, and Florida, used box cutters, flight schools, and Western visas, exploiting open borders. The tower's collapse, watched by billions, was Osama's stage. His October tape claiming, "America burns." In 2025, we relive the horror, but demand, why did the CIA, warned of spectacular plots, fail to connect dots? The global fallout was seismic, a world reordered. Bush's War on Terror, declared September 20th, 2001, vowed bin Laden's head. Afghanistan invaded by October 7th. The Taliban toppled in weeks. Yet Osama, in Jalalabad, slipped to Tora Bora by December, his $50,000 bribes opening Pakistan's border. The Muslim world, 1.6 billion strong, split. Some cheered Osama, others mourned 9/11's dead. Mosques from Cairo to Jakarta debating jihad. Saudi Arabia, his birthplace, froze his accounts, but 15 of 19 hijackers were Saudi, their passports raising eyebrows. Europe, Asia, Africa tightened borders, fearing Al-Qaeda's cells. In 2025, we see the chaos, but question, why did allies, from Riyadh to Islamabad, let his network spread? Bin Laden's ideology, a toxic brew of Wahhabism and anti-Western rage, was his true weapon. His tapes, 30 by 2001, called for bleeding America, framing the West as crusaders defiling Muslim lands. Palestine occupied, Iraq sanctioned, Saudi bases hosting U.S. troops. Al-Qaeda's reach, 60 countries, wasn't just bombs, it was ideas, preached in Yemen's madrasas, London's basements, Malaysia's mosques. Zawahiri's strategy, provoke U.S. overreach, bankrupt the West, guided Osama, his wealth-fueling propaganda. The U.S.'s response, $1 trillion wars, Patriot Act surveillance, played into his trap, alienating Muslims. In 2025, we see the playbook, but ask, why did the West feed his narrative? Saudi Arabia's role as bin Laden's cradle is a scandal of neglect. The kingdom, flush with $200 billion oil revenue by 1990, funded Wahhabi mosques worldwide, their clerics echoing Osama's call. His family, bin Laden Construction, built U.S. bases in the Gulf, their ties to royals ironclad. Osama's 1991 exile for criticizing U.S. troops was symbolic. His passport revoked, but funds flowed via Dubai. The CIA, cozy with Riyadh, ignored warnings of radical youth. 10,000 Saudis joining jihad by 1995. Post 9/11, Saudi denials. Osama was rogue, crumbled. Their 15 hijackers a stain. In 2025, we probe the complicity, demanding, why did America's ally nurture its enemy? U.S. intelligence failures were a quiet disaster, a bureaucracy blind to the storm. The CIA's Alex Station, formed 1996, was understaffed, 25 analysts juggling bin Laden and Hezbollah. FBI-CIA turf wars buried leads. 1999 reports of flight training ignored. 2001's Phoenix memo warning of hijackers shelved. The NSA, scooping 1 million calls daily, missed Al-Qaeda's Malaysia summit, January 2000, where 9/11 was planned. Clinton's 1998 missiles, post-embassy bombings, were a $70 million flop. Sudan's factory hit a pharma plant, Osama unscathed. By 9/11, the CIA's $3 billion budget was stretched, bin Laden a low priority. In 2025, we see the lapses, but question, was it incompetence or distraction by bigger games? The Muslim world's context, a cauldron of grievance, gave bin Laden his stage. Palestine's occupation, 500,000 dead in Iraq's 1990 sanctions, U.S. bases in Saudi Arabia. These were Osama's rallying cries, shared by millions. Egypt's jails, packed with Brotherhood dissidents, birthed Zawahiri's rage. Pakistan's madrasas, 10,000 by 1995, preached jihad, funded by Saudi cash. Yet moderates, scholars in Al-Azhar, poets in Kabul, condemned Osama, their voices drowned by his bombs. Al-Qaeda's recruits, 20,000 by 2001, weren't just fanatics. They were jobless youth, angry at corrupt regimes backed by Washington. In 2025, we feel their pain, but ask, why did the West's policies fuel the fire? Bin Laden's personal life, a shadow within the shadow, humanized the monster. His 4 wives, Najwa, Khadija, Khairia, Amal, bore 20 children, their lives nomadic, from Khartoum's villas to Kandahar's huts. Najwa, his first, left in 2001, her memoir hinting at his temper, softened by love for his sons. His health, kidney issues, low blood pressure, relied on herbal cures, not hospitals, his paranoia keeping doctors away. His daily routine, by 2000, was Spartan: prayer at dawn, meetings with Zawahiri, soccer with kids at dusk. In 2025, we see the man, but wonder, did his simplicity mask a deeper cunning? The attack's planning was Al-Qaeda's dark genius, a low-tech war on a high-tech world. The embassy bombings, costing $100,000, used stolen trucks, local cells in Nairobi, and TNT from Tanzania's mines. The coal attack, $500,000, leveraged Yemen's ports, divers posing as fishermen. 9/11, a $500,000 masterpiece, took 3 years. Hijackers trained in Arizona, funds wired from Dubai. Atta's Hamburg cell plotting in plain sight. Osama's role was approval, not micromanagement. His Kandahar not enough. The CIA, FBI, missed it all. Their focus on state threats, not stateless ghosts. In 2025, we marvel at the cunning, but demand, how did open plots go unseen? Bin Laden's rise wasn't a solo act. It was a failure of systems, a world that looked away. Saudi Arabia's clerics, preaching hate, were US allies. Pakistan's ISI, arming the Taliban, took CIA cash. The US, funding Mujahideen in the 1980s, built Osama's camps. His wealth, $25 million, was a drop in Riyadh's bucket, yet bought a global network. His charisma, soft-spoken but iron-willed, drew thousands, their loyalty outlasting bombs. In 2025, we see the web, but challenge. Was bin Laden a mastermind, or a symptom of a world broken by greed, faith, and power? The shadow rose, and we're still in its shade. Osama bin Laden's face, gaunt and unyielding, haunted the world after 9/11. Wanted posters in every airport, CNN loops replaying his tapes, a $25 million FBI bounty dangling like a noose. The Manhunt, simmering since the 1998 US Embassy bombings, erupted into a global obsession. The CIA, FBI, NSA, and Pentagon hurling spies, drones, satellites, and dirty tricks at a ghost who danced through mountains and markets. This odyssey dives into the 13-year chase, from 1998 to 2010. A labyrinth of breakthroughs, blunders, and blood that finally pinned bin Laden to a walled compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. It's not just a hunt, it's a saga of human grit, tech wizardry, and moral decay. Guantanamo's cages, black site screams, drone strikes shredding villages. In 2025, we're not waving flags for the CIA's win. We're dissecting their failures, their lies, and why bin Laden, the world's most wanted, slipped through for so long. The hunt's roots trace to August 7, 1998, when Al-Qaeda's truck bombs tore through US embassies in Nairobi, Kenya, and Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, killing 224, wounding 4,500. The CIA's Alex Station, a 25-person unit formed in 1996, had bin Laden in their crosshairs, led by Michael Scheuer, a chain-smoking analyst whose office, buried in Langley's basement, was a shrine of bin Laden files. With a $50 million budget, Alex Station ran human intelligence, HUMINT, recruiting Sudanese exiles who'd known bin Laden in Khartoum, offering $10,000 for tips. Most leads were garbage. Warlords pocketing cash, claiming bin Laden was in Yemen, Somalia, nowhere. President Clinton, stung by the bombings, launched Operation Infinite Reach on August 20th, '66. Tomahawk missiles slammed al-Qaeda camps in Afghanistan. A Sudan factory mishit as a chemical plant, killing 20 civilians. Bin Laden, tipped off by Pakistani contacts, vanished, his Kandahar tape mocking America's weakness. In 2025, we see the early stumble, but ask, why was Alex Station, the CIA's best shot, so underfunded and ignored? Post 9/11, the manhunt became a crusade, the world's fury fueling a machine that never slept. On September 17, 2001, George W. Bush signed a directive, kill or capture bin Laden. No rules, no limits. The CIA's Special Activities Division, elite paramilitaries, flooded Kabul with 200 agents, their duffels stuffed with $80 million to bribe Afghan warlords. Operation Enduring Freedom, launched October 7, 2001, saw 15,000 U.S. troops and 50,000 Afghan allies topple the Taliban in weeks, B-52s leveling Kandahar. But bin Laden, cornered in Tora Bora's caves by December, slipped into Pakistan, a 30-mile trek through snow. The CIA, relying on 1,000 Afghan militias, misjudged. Only 200 U.S. troops sealed the border. Warlord Hazrat Ali paid $500,000. Likely took bin Laden's $1 million to open a path. In 2025, we feel Tora Bora's sting, demanding. Was it a blunder? Or did Pakistan's ISI, US-funded, turn a blind eye? The CIA's ground game was a deadly ballet, human at its core. By 2002, 300 case officers worked Pakistan's tribal areas: Waziristan, Bajaur, Khyber, posing as NGO workers, their Land Cruisers dodging IEDs. Pashtun informants, paid $5,000 monthly, risked beheadings to report al-Qaeda safehouses. But bin Laden's couriers, like Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, used burner phones, hand-delivered notes, vanishing into bazaars. In Peshawar, Agent Jennifer Matthews, a 45-year-old mother, bribed elders with $20,000, her cover as a USAID worker thin. A 2009 suicide bombing at Camp Chapman, Afghanistan, killed her and 6 others. An al-Qaeda double agent exploiting CIA greed for tips. The ISI, Pakistan's spies, shadowed US agents, tipping al-Qaeda, their loyalty split. In 2025, we honor the spy's courage, but probe, why did allies betray, and what did Langley's secrecy hide? Signals intelligence, SIGINT, turned the hunt into a tech war, the NSA's $10 billion budget dwarfing Alex Station's scraps. PRISM, launched 2007, vacuumed 1.5 billion calls, emails, and texts daily. Algorithms flagging Arabic keywords: martyr, infidel, jihad. A 2004 Yemeni SIM card, linked to Zawahiri, revealed al-Qaeda's couriers, but bin Laden, tech-shy, banned phones, his orders scrawled on paper. Satellites, 60 by 2006, snapped 10,000 images daily, their infrared spotting Waziristan campfires. Yet bin Laden's mud huts blended with villages. The NSA's Echelon, eavesdropping globally, caught a 2009 call from al-Kuwaiti in Peshawar. Vague but vital, his voice traced to a $50 Nokia. By 2010, SIGINT human fusion, analysts cross-referencing calls with agent reports, flagged al-Kuwaiti's Suzuki SUV, leading to Abbottabad. In 2025, we marvel at the tech, but question, why did billion-dollar systems lag behind one man's cunning? Drones were the hunt's grim reapers, a revolution in blood. Predator UAVs, 50 in 2001, grew to 7,000 by 2010, flown from Nevada, their Hellfire missiles killing 2,500 jihadists, but 900 civilians, each death a gift to al-Qaeda's recruiters. The CIA's $2 billion drone program used 4K cameras, facial recognition scanning bearded men. But bin Laden, cloaked in robes, was a ghost. A 2006 Bajaur strike, targeting Zawahiri, killed 18 innocents, kids, elders, no leaders, sparking riots that hid al-Qaeda deeper. By 2009, Reaper drones, with 1,000-pound payloads, tailed al-Kuwaiti's routes, their feeds guiding CIA agents to a walled compound, 12 feet high, no phone lines. Pakistan, bombed without consent, protested, their sovereignty a joke. In 2025, we see the drone's precision, but recoil. Did they chase bin Laden or breed his heirs? Covert operations pushed the CIA into darkness. Ethics be damned. Operation Greystone 2002 opened black sites. Thailand, Poland, Romania, where 119 detainees faced enhanced interrogation. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, 9/11's planner, endured 183 waterboardings, naming al-Kuwaiti. But 2014, Senate reports showed SIGINT, not torture, broke the case. Renditions. Snatching suspects in Yemen, Egypt. Fed Guantanamo. 780 held, 26 innocent. Their orange jumpsuits Al-Qaeda's propaganda gold. A 2010 fake hepatitis vaccine drive in Abbottabad, led by CIA contractor Shakil Afridi, snagged bin Laden's DNA from his kids, confirming his hideout. It worked, but Pakistan jailed Afridi, and polio cases spiked 30%. Tribes shunning vaccines, 3,000 kids paralyzed. In 2025, we shudder at the cost, asking, was one man worth a generation's health? Allied intelligence, from Saudi Arabia to the UK, was a mixed bag, their help often a mirage. Saudi Arabia's Mabahith, sharing al-Qaeda files post-9/11, raided Riyadh cells, 200 arrests, but their Wahhabi clerics, untouchable, preached jihad, fueling bin Laden's base. The UK's MI6, with 2,000 agents, tracked London recruiters, foiling a 2003 plot, but missed 9/11's Hamburg cell, their focus on IRA remnants. Jordan's GID, brutal but effective, tortured al-Qaeda suspects, yielding Zawahiri's aliases, but Egypt's SSI, corrupt, sold tips to both sides. The CIA, coordinating via Langley's fusion center, drowned in conflicting reports, allies guarding their own turf. In 2025, we see the network, but probe. Why did allies, flush with US cash, hold back? Pakistan's tribal areas, Fateh, 7 regions along Afghanistan's border, were the hunt's black hole. Waziristan, 5,000 square miles of peaks, hid 15,000 jihadists by 2005, Al-Qaeda's couriers dodging drones in mud villages. The ISI, claiming no control, ran 1,000 informants, but drone strikes, 112 by 2010, killed 900 civilians, tribes shielding bin Laden out of spite. A 2005 earthquake, 86,000 dead, opened FATA to CIA spies posing as medics, but ISI counter-spies, tailing them, tipped Al-Qaeda. Bin Laden, suspected in Miranshah, moved to urban hideouts. His low-tech discipline, couriers, no emails, outsmarting NSA nets. In 2025, we map the terrain but demand, did the ISI protect him or just profit from chaos? The breakthrough, slow and painful, came via al-Kuwaiti, bin Laden's trusted courier. By 2007, the CIA, burned by torture's false leads, focused on al-Qaeda's logistics, al-Kuwaiti's name surfacing from a Moroccan detainee, not waterboards. NSA intercepts, 2009, caught his calls, short, cryptic, to Peshawar, his $50 Nokia traced via cell towers. Agents, posing as traders, tailed his white Suzuki SUV, 2010, from Peshawar to Abbottabad, 35 miles from Islamabad. The compound, built 2005, was a fortress. No internet, 12-foot walls, Trash burned on sight. Satellites spotted a tall man, the pacer, pacing the yard, 6'4", like bin Laden. John Brennan, CIA deputy, briefed Obama, August 2010, 60% sure it was him. In 2025, we cheer the clue, but wonder, how did a $1 million hideout stand untouched? Failures piled high, a graveyard of missed chances. Pre-9/11, the CIA-FBI rift buried warnings, 1999's flight training reports, 2001's Phoenix memo on hijackers ignored, Tora Bora's 2001 fiasco, with 80% of troops Afghan, lacked US air cover, bin Laden's escape a tactical sin. Alex Station, disbanded 2005, was starved, its 9/11 alerts dismissed by Pentagon brass. Torture, hyped as key, led to wild chases, Yemen, Syria, wasting years. The CIA's Pakistan station, 200 agents by 2008, clashed with diplomats. Drone strikes alienating locals who hid bin Laden. Yet al-Kuwaiti's trail, a decade's grind, showed grit. 2010s find a testament to doggedness. In 2025, we weigh the flops, asking, why 13 years, and what truths stay locked? Al-Qaeda's evasion was a masterclass, low-tech trumping high-tech. Bin Laden banned electronics, his couriers, al-Kuwaiti, his brother Abrar, using dead drops, coded letters, meeting in mosques, safe houses, 50 in Karachi, Rawalpindi, rotated monthly, ISI leaks covering tracks. Al-Qaeda's finances, $20 million yearly, flowed via Hawala, untraceable cash transfers, Dubai to Kandahar. Zawahiri, in Bajaur, ran decoy cells, fake plots distracting the CIA. Bin Laden's tapes, 40 by 2010, were couriered to Al Jazeera, no digital trace. The CIA, chasing shadows, burned $15 billion, their tech blind to human cunning. In 2025, we see their game, but question, why did a ragtag group outsmart the world's best spies? The human toll was a ledger of despair, a cost no bounty could repay. CIA agents, like Matthews, left kids fatherless, their 2009 deaths a wound in Langley's heart. Guantanamo's 780 detainees, 52 tortured for nothing, lost years. Their families broken in Yemen, Pakistan. Afghan civilians, 20,000 dead by 2010, buried dreams in US airstrikes, their villages rubble. Pakistan's tribes, 35,000 killed, turned to jihad, drone hums their lullaby. Bin Laden's followers, 5,000 dead, left orphans drawn to ISIS, their hate eternal. In 2025, we honor the fallen, asking, why did the hunt's price fall on the innocent, not the planners? The dragnet's moral slide, a stain on history, haunts 2025. Torture, condemned by 2014 Senate report, yielded lies, not leads, 26 innocents broken for sport. Drones killing 900 civilians made the US a villain, 70% of Pakistanis anti-American by 2010. Pew polls show. The vaccine scam, exposed 2011, gutted global health, polio's return a CIA scar. The war on terror, $1 trillion by 2010, starved schools, hospitals, while Al-Qaeda grew, 10,000 fighters by 2011. The CIA, hailed for Abbottabad, hid black sites, their Glomar response, dodging truth. In 2025, we see the cost, demanding, did the dragnet catch bin Laden, or lose America's soul. Operation Neptune Spear, the raid in Abbottabad. 100,000 words, full paragraphs. It's 1:00 a.m., May 2nd, 2011, in Abbottabad, Pakistan, a sleepy garrison town cradling secrets. Two MH-60 Black Hawk helicopters, their stealth blades slicing the night, skim rooftops, carrying 24 SEAL Team 6 operators to a walled compound where Osama bin Laden, the world's most wanted man, has hidden for 6 years. This 100,000-word odyssey isn't just the chronicle of Operation Neptune Spear, the 38-minute raid that ended a 13-year manhunt with 3 bullets. It's a sprawling saga of espionage, sacrifice, betrayal, and lingering doubts that echo into 2025. From Langley's sleepless analysts to the blood-soaked floors of a $1 million fortress, we'll dissect every pulse of the raid, its painstaking buildup, chaotic execution, intelligence windfall, and the controversies that refuse to die. Pakistan's double game, a body sunk at sea, 4,000 documents sealed in CIA vaults. This is Secrets Unleashed, and we're not here to salute the Pentagon's narrative. We're breaching the walls to ask, was this justice, a staged drama, or the spark for wars still raging? Grab your night vision, truth seekers. Let's storm the compound and hunt the truth. The raid's seeds were sown in August 2010, when the CIA's Counterterrorism Center, a warren of cubicles in Langley, Virginia, zeroes in on a compound in Abbottabad, 35 miles north of Islamabad. It's no ordinary house. 12-foot concrete walls, barbed wire, no phone or internet, trash incinerated daily. A tall figure, dubbed the Pacer, pacing the yard, 6'4", matching bin Laden's lanky silhouette. John Brennan, the CIA's deputy director, a 56-year-old with a boxer's jaw, oversees 200 analysts poring over 1,000 satellite images, their 4K resolution showing sealed windows, a third-floor balcony shrouded in concrete. Maya, a pseudonymous analyst in her 30s, drives the hunt, her desk buried in al-Kuwaiti's phone logs, her 80-hour weeks fueled by coffee and obsession. The CIA's probability, 60% bin Laden's there, carries the weight of 9/11's 2,977 dead, but also the ghost of 1998's missile strikes, a $70 million flop that missed him. In 2025, we feel Langley's pulse, but probe. How did a fortress next to Pakistan's military academy escape notice for years? The intelligence trail began in 2007, when a Moroccan detainee, not waterboarded, whispered the name Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, bin Laden's trusted courier. By 2009, NSA's PRISM, scooping 1.5 billion calls daily, snagged al-Kuwaiti's voice on a $50 Nokia in Peshawar, his cryptic chatter, "The package is safe," flagged by algorithms. CIA agents, 50 in Abbottabad by 2010, posed as traitors, their telephoto lenses catching al-Kuwaiti's white Suzuki SUV entering the compound daily. RQ-170 Sentinel drones, buzzing at 20,000 feet, mapped the site, their infrared spotting 13 heat signatures, 5 adults, 8 kids. A fake hepatitis vaccine drive, orchestrated by Dr. Shakil Afridi, a Pakistani contractor, swabbed DNA from bin Laden's son Khalid, 23, matching family records from a 2008 sample. The ISI, Pakistan's spies, patrolled 0.8 miles away, their 1,000 agents clueless or complicit. The CIA, burned by ISI leaks, kept Pakistan in the dark, a $20 billion ally untrusted. In 2025, we marvel at the spy craft, but demand, why did Pakistan's radar miss the world's biggest fugitive? Planning crystallized in January 2011, a high-stakes chess game across Washington's power corridors. President Obama, 49, cool but resolute, gathers his war council, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Leon Panetta, Robert Gates, in the Situation Room, their oak table strewn with classified maps. The CIA pushes a raid, citing intelligence value. The Pentagon warns of Pakistan's F-16s, 10 minutes from Abbottabad. Admiral William McRaven, 55, a SEAL legend with 5,000 missions, designs the op, rejecting a B-2 airstrike, $2 billion, 2,000-pound bombs. That'd kill civilians and bury evidence. SEAL Team 6, 80 operators in Virginia Beach, TAPS Red Squadron, 24 men, average age 35, led by James, a laconic Texan with 12 deployments. Training launches March 1st at Camp Alpha, North Carolina, a full-scale compound mock-up, plywood walls, sandbag rooms, built in 48 hours. SEALs fast rope from MH-60s, clear rooms with silenced M4s, and drill, kill, or capture, their NVGs painting the night green. Psych trainers, ex-SEALs, hammer mental prep. Chaos is your friend. Trust your team. In 2025, we see the grind, but question, why no contingency for Pakistani jets, a heartbeat away? The CIA's intelligence machine, a $15 billion beast, ran 24/7. Analysts cross-referenced al-Kuwaiti's routes, 200 trips logged from Peshawar to Abbottabad. His SUV's plates swapped weekly. Satellites, 10 orbiting, snapped 2,000 images, their AI flagging the Pacer's 6'4" shadow. Humint, 50 local assets, $5,000 monthly. Reported neighbors' whispers. No visitors, no noise. Afridi's vaccine ruse, costing $50,000. Infiltrated the compound. Nurses bribing maids for access. SIGINT fused NSA intercepts with CIA reports. A 2010 call from al-Kuwaiti. I'm with the tall one, cementing the lead. Brennan's team, 60% sure in August, hits 80% by April, but doubts linger. Is it bin Laden or a decoy? The CIA's Fusion Center, 200 analysts, debates scenarios. Bomb, raid, surveil. Each risking a Tora Bora repeat. In 2025, we track the data, but ask, why bet billions on one man when Al-Qaeda's cells multiplied? April 29, 2011, Obama signs the order. A 60% gamble, his voice steady. We go. The Situation Room preps for a drone-fed watch party. Screens linked to CJTF 145 in Jalalabad. 2 MH-60 Blackhawks, stealth-coded. Cost $60 million each. Carry 23 SEALs. A Pakistani-American translator, Ahmed. And Cairo, a Belgian Malinois sniffing for bombs. A Chinook with 15 backup SEALs trails 20 miles back. The choppers, flown by 160th SOAR Night Stalkers, lift off at 11:00 p.m., May 1st, from Jalalabad, hugging Pakistan's border, their radar-absorbing skin dodging PAF radar. At 1:05 a.m., Black Hawk 1, caught in a thermal updraft, grazes the compound's wall, its tail rotor snapping on concrete. The $60 million bird grounding hard. SEALs, led by Robert O'Neill, 35, pile out, unscathed, the wreckage sparking. James, calm, radios. We're good, moving in. In 2025, we feel the jolt, asking, was the crash a fluke or a rushed ops warning? The compound, A 3-story labyrinth turns into a kill zone. The SEALs, NVG helmets glowing, blow the outer gate with C4. They're silenced M4s. $2,000 each. 5.56mm. Sweeping shadows. Al-Kuwaiti, 34. Bin Laden's courier. Fires an AK-47 from the guest house. A SEAL's burst, dropping him at 1IDX07 AM. His wife, Mariam, 30, caught in the spray. Her screams silenced, leaving 4 kids orphaned. The main house, concrete, unlit, holds Bin Laden's clan. 4 wives, 8 kids, chaos unfolding. First floor, SEALs clear rooms, lasers dancing on walls, finding bunk beds, Korans, a rusted AK-47. Second floor, Abrar al-Kuwaiti, 32, Abu's brother, grabs a Makarov pistol. He's shot at 1:09 AM. His wife, Bushra, wounded, clutching a toddler, her sobs muffled. The third floor, Bin Laden's lair, is a fortress within. O'Neill, leading, spots him at 1:10 AM, behind a mall, 29. His Yemeni wife, in a bedroom lit by moonlight. 3 shots. Chest, chest, forehead. Kill Bin Laden, 54. Geronimo Ikiaye, radio to Langley. Amal, lung shot, collapses, alive. Her white hijab blood-soaked. In 2025, we see the strike. But probe. Why kill, not capture, unless orders erased options? The 38-minute raid's cleanup is a sprint against Pakistan's Air Force. F-16's 10 minutes out. SEALs grab 10 Dell desktops, 100 USBs, 5 Nokia phones, 15 binders. Bin Laden's diaries, Al-Qaeda's blueprints, a 10-terabyte trove. His body, 6'4", 160 pounds, is bagged. DNA swabbed with a cheek stick. Photos snapped by a SEAL's Canon EOS. His face gray, eyes open. Blood pools on the rug. Amal's cries piercing. Her kids, Khalid, 23, shot on the stairs. Hamza, 20, zip tied, huddled in fear. The crashed Black Hawk, its stealth tech a Pentagon secret, is rigged with C4, blown at 1:35 AM. Debris smoldering. China's spies later scavenging. At 1:38 AM, the team exfils. Chinook carrying Bin Laden's corpse. Cairo panting beside O'Neill. The second Black Hawk lifting the rest. Abbottabad wakes to blasts. Residents peering from balconies. No X-posts till dawn. In 2025, we track the haste, but demand, why destroy evidence unless secrets trumped proof? The body's odyssey, from Abbottabad to the Arabian Sea, is cloaked in mystery. Flown to Bagram Air Base, then the USS Carl Vinson. Bin Laden's corpse is ID'd by 3:00 AM, May 2nd. DNA matching his sister's 2008 sample. 99.9% confirmed. Facial recognition, NSA's software, mapping his gaunt jaw. A SEAL's tape measure, 6'4", no boots. Washed, shrouded in white. He's buried at sea by 4:00 AM. A Navy imam reciting Surah al-Fatiha. No land grave to spark a jihadist shrine. The Pentagon, citing no suitable site, releases no photos, no video, no helmet cam footage, 4,000 documents classified. Pakistan, alerted at 2:00 AM, scrambles F-16s, their radar blind to stealth. Kayani's rage impotent. In 2025, we see the ritual, but question, why sink the body, fueling 50,000 X-threads claiming he's alive? Obama's 11:35 p.m. EST speech, May 1st, 2011. Justice has been done, ignites the world. Times Square erupts, 10,000 chanting USA. Ground Zero weeps, 9/11 families clutching photos of 2,977 lost. Islamabad seethes, protests swelling, 60% of Pakistanis, per Gallup, denying bin Laden was there. The CIA, leaking select details, hails the raid, Panetta touting precision. But redactions bury truth. No body shots, no drone feed, no SEAL cams. Al-Qaeda, under Ayman al-Zawahiri, vows blood. Their Yemen branch bombing Sana'a, 20 dead, May 10th. Bin Laden's family, Amal, 3 wives, 8 kids, languish in Pakistani jails, deported to Saudi Arabia, 2012. Their silence enforced. In 2025, we hear the cheers, but ask, was this closure or a fracture widened? Pakistan's complicity is a scandal that festers, a betrayal no apology can cleanse. Abbottabad, home to 5,000 troops, hosted the Pakistan Military Academy, 2,000 cadets drilling counterterrorism, yet bin Laden lived 800 yards away since 2005. The ISI, 1,000 agents in town, ran informants, yet missed al-Kuwaiti's daily Suzuki runs. General Ashfaq Kayani, army chief, swears incompetence, not intent. But 2011 cables reveal ISI safe houses in Karachi hid Zawahiri. Locals, 50 interviewed post-raid, noted the compound's oddities, sealed windows, burned trash, but feared ISI reprisals. Their silence a cultural reflex. Pakistan's jets, idle during the raid, hint at a stand-down, whispers of a US ISI pact swirling. The $20 billion in US aid, 2001 to 2011, bought bases, not loyalty. In 2025, we smell the lie, demanding, was bin Laden Pakistan's pawn or their blind spot? Controversies like Abbottabad's walls stand unyielding in 2025. The sea burial, meant to deny a shrine, spawns 100,000 ex-posts. Bin Laden's alive in Yemen, a double killed, a CIA psyop. The CIA's claim, torture led to al-Kuwaiti, crumbles. 2014. Senate reports credit SIGINT. 183 waterboardings on Khalid Sheikh Mohammed yielding lies. O'Neill claiming the kill shot, splits Red Squadron, his 2014 book, The Operator, breaking SEAL silence, earning $1 million but exile. The raid's legality, US troops in Pakistan, no UN mandate, draws Geneva murmurs, Obama citing self-defense amid 9/11's shadow. Redacted files, 4,000 documents, fuel FOIA battles, CIA's Glomar response a wall. In 2025, we dig the fog, asking, was this a clean kill, or a hit with a hidden script? The Intelligence Hall, a 10-terabyte jackpot, rewrote counterterrorism. Bin Laden's drives named 200 operatives, 50 plots, London trains, Dubai malls, Mumbai hotels, foiled by 2012. His diaries, 500 pages, railed at Zawahiri's arrogance, planned a 9/11 anniversary strike and hid $5 million in Doha banks. The CIA, sharing with MI6 Jordan's GID, disrupted AQAP in Yemen. 2012 drones killing 150. Yet Al-Qaeda morphed. Zawahiri's cells in Syria, Somalia, 10,000 fighters by 2015. ISIS's 30,000 mocking the raid. The Hall's secrets, 70% classified, hint at Saudi donors, ISI contacts, locked in Langley. In 2025, we see the win, but probe. What truths stay buried, and who's guarding them? Abbottabad Seoul, a town of 80,000, adds layers of enigma. A middle-class haven, it housed retirees, cadets, Pashtun traders. Its bazaars alive with chai stalls, yet the compound stood apart. No visitors, no utilities, a ghost house. Neighbors, 100 questioned, feared ISI's wrath, their silence rooted in Pakistan's military state. The academy, training 2,000, ran anti-terror drills, irony thick as bin Laden paced nearby. Local police, $200 monthly, took bribes, their reports to ISI ignored. The raid's blasts woke 5,000, but fear kept phones silent. No ex-posts till 6 o'clock a.m. In 2025, we walk its streets, but ask, how did a wired town miss a global fugitive? The SEALs, elite but mortal, carried invisible wounds. O'Neill, a Montana rancher's son, battled PTSD. His 2013 divorce a casualty, the kill shot a 20-pound weight. Bissonnette, 36, with no easy day, earned $500,000 but Navy scorn. His 2012 book outing tactics, teammates shunning him. Red Squadron, 24 men, averaged 15 deployments, their bodies broken, 50% with TBI, 80% needing knee surgery. Cairo, the Malinois, retired to Virginia, a silent hero, his handler tearful at his 2013 death. The Night Stalkers, 160th SOAR, lost no men, but their choppers' tech, scavenged by China, birthed Beijing's Z-20 by 2020. In 2025, we honor their sacrifice, but question, why did heroes bleed while Langley's suits hid? Global reactions, a kaleidoscope of joy and fury, redrew alliances. New York's 9/11 families, 5,000 at Ground Zero, wept closure, their bronze memorial etched with names. Riyadh's clerics denounced bin Laden, but 20% of Saudi youth, per 2011 polls, called him martyr. Mosques whispering jihad. Cairo, mid-Arab Spring, ignored the raid, their Tahrir dreams local. China, Russia, decried U.S. imperialism. UN debates on sovereignty tabled. NATO, UK, France, cheered. Germany mum. Wary of Guantanamo's 35 detainees. Pakistan's streets, 20,000 in Karachi, burned U.S. flags. 80% distrusting Obama, Gallup showed. In 2025, we see the rift, asking, why did one death unite some, but inflame millions? The raid's tech, a sci-fi leap, shaped 2025's wars. Stealth Black Hawks, their composite blades cutting radar, spawned DARPA's X-47B drones, 10,000 bombing autonomously. RQ-170s, guiding the raid, birthed AI swarms. Yemen's skies their turf, 1,000 civilians dead since 2015. SIGINT, fusing NSA's 5 billion daily intercepts, became PRISM 3.0. Ex-posts tracked, privacy a myth. The CIA's Fusion Center, 2,000 analysts, hunts cyber terror, their algorithms profiling billions. Yet tech's toll, $20 billion yearly, 2,000 drone deaths, mirrors the raid's moral haze, X raging at Skynet. In 2025, we see the tools, but challenge. Why build machines that haunt us? The raid's legacy, a paradox, defines 2025. It killed bin Laden, but Al-Qaeda's heirs, ISIS, Boko Haram, kill 30,000 yearly, their TikToks sharper than his tapes. Pakistan, cut from 2 billion aid, pivoted to China, Gwadar's port a new front. The CIA's triumph hid torture. 1,500 drone deaths, Guantanamo's 35 a stain. The $6 trillion war on terror, adjusted, starved schools, climate, echoing K-129's claw. X, 200,000 threads, demands files, show the body, free the cams. In 2025, we weigh the cost, demanding, was Neptune's spear victory or a mirror to our broken soul? These 38 minutes, a hinge of history, didn't end the war. They opened questions. The SEAL's bullets stopped bin Laden, but his ghost, redacted files, Pakistan's lies, endless jihad, looms. In 2025, we still hunt what Abbottabad hid, the compound's blood crying truth. We honor the fallen, SEALs, 9/11's lost, civilians, but challenge silence. Historical context. The war on terror's crucible. The hunt for Osama bin Laden wasn't just a chase through deserts and compounds. It was a collision of history, ideology, and power, forged in the crucible of the war on terror. This segment plunges into the forces that shaped bin Laden's rise and the world's response, from the Cold War's ashes to the blood-soaked streets of Kabul and Baghdad. We're not just retracing the manhunt, we're unearthing the roots of a global conflict that cost $1 trillion, 170,000 civilian lives, and the moral clarity of nations. From the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 to the 2011 raid in Abbottabad, this is the story of empires clashing, faiths weaponized, and truths buried under propaganda, surveillance, and lies. In 2025, we're not swallowing the Pentagon's tales or Al-Qaeda's martyrdom. We're peeling back the layers to ask, why did the war on terror become a forever war? And what did it cost us all? The story begins at the Cold War's twilight, the 1980s, when the US and Soviet Union played chess with the world's fate. Afghanistan, a rugged land of 15 million, became their board in 1979, when Soviet tanks rolled in to prop up a Marxist regime, sparking a jihad that drew Osama bin Laden, then a 22-year-old Saudi idealist, to Peshawar. The US, smelling a chance to bleed Moscow, funneled $3 billion through Pakistan's ISI to Mujahideen warlords, matched by Saudi Arabia's petrodollars. Bin Laden, bankrolling camps with his $25 million inheritance, built tunnels and coast, his family's bulldozers carving jihad's infrastructure. The CIA, via Operation Cyclone, armed 100,000 fighters, including Gulbuddin Hekmatyar, a brutal Islamist later allied with Al-Qaeda. By 1989, the Soviets fled, 15,000 dead, Afghanistan a ruin of 1 million corpses. In 2025, we see the spark, but probe. Why did the US, arming jihadists, ignore the monster they fed? The Cold War's end in 1989 left a vacuum, the US as sole superpower, its gaze fixed on the Middle East's oil and Israel's security. The 1990-1991 Gulf War, triggered by Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, saw 500,000 US troops flood Saudi Arabia, their bases in Jeddah and Dhahran, a blasphemy to bin Laden, who saw crusaders defiling Islam's holy land. His 1991 exile to Sudan for criticizing Riyadh's U.S. alliance marked his shift from financier to warlord, Al-Qaeda's seeds sown. The Muslim world, 1.6 billion strong, simmered. Palestine's occupation, 400,000 dead in Iraq's 1990 sanctions. Egypt's jails packed with dissidents. Grievances bin Laden weaponized. Saudi Arabia, flush with 200 billion in oil, funded Wahhabi mosques globally, their clerics echoing his call. In 2025, we feel the rage, but ask, why did allies like Riyadh, cozy with Washington, nurture jihad's roots? The 1990s were Al-Qaeda's proving ground, a decade of escalating strikes the U.S. slept through. The 1993 World Trade Center bombing, a 1,500-pound truck bomb in New York's garage, killed 6, injured 1,000, masterminded by Ramzi Youssef, a bin Laden ally. The CIA focused on Russia's collapse, missed Al-Qaeda's cells forming in Sudan, Yemen, Somalia. The 1998 U.S. embassy bombings in Kenya and Tanzania, 224 dead, woke Washington, but Clinton's Operation Infinite Reach, 66 Tomahawks, $70 million, hit empty Afghan camps. A Sudan factory mistargeted, killing 20 civilians. Bin Laden in Kandahar, mocked weak horses, his $30 million network untouched. The 2000 USS Cole attack, 17 sailors dead, showed his reach. Yemen's ports a playground. In 2025, we see the failures, but demand, why did the CIA, with $3 billion, miss Al-Qaeda's rise? 9/11, September 11th, 2001, was the crucible's hottest flame, shattering the world. 4 planes, American 11, United 175, American 77, United 93, crashed into the Twin Towers, Pentagon, and a Pennsylvania field, killing 2,977, wounding 25,000. Bin Laden, approving Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's $500,000 plot, struck from Kandahar, his tape gloating as towers fell. The U.S., led by George W. Bush, declared the war on terror on September 20th, vowing bin Laden's head. Operation Enduring Freedom, October 7th, 2001, invaded Afghanistan, 15,000 U.S. troops and 50,000 Afghan allies toppling the Taliban in 60 days, Kabul a ruin. Bin Laden, escaping Tora Bora, vanished into Pakistan, a $1 million bribe opening borders. In 2025, we relive the shock, but question, why did intelligence, warned of spectacular plots, fail so spectacularly? Afghanistan's war, 2001 to 2011, was a quagmire, a $500 billion sinkhole that didn't catch bin Laden. By 2002, 30,000 U.S. troops hunted shadows, their Humvees dodging IEDs in Helmand, while warlords, paid $10,000 monthly, played both sides. The Taliban, 10,000 strong, regrouped in Pakistan's tribal areas, their opium trade funding RPGs. Civilians, 20,000 dead by 2010, buried sons in U.S. airstrikes, their villages rubble, fueling jihad. The CIA, running 200 agents, bribed Pashtun elders, but bin Laden's couriers, like Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, dodged drones. Pakistan's ISI, taking $10 billion in U.S. aid, sheltered Taliban leaders, their Quetta Shura untouchable. By 2011, 2,000 U.S. troops were dead. Afghanistan's 30 million still ungoverned. In 2025, we tally the toll, asking, why fight a war that lost its target? Iraq's 2003 invasion, a war on terror detour, was a strategic disaster, costing $800 billion and 100,000 civilian lives. Bush, citing Saddam Hussein's WMDs, launched Operation Iraqi Freedom on March 20, 2003, 150,000 U.S. troops storming Baghdad. Saddam toppled in 21 days. No WMDs found. The war's pretext collapsed. Al-Qaeda absent pre-invasion, but thriving by 2004. Abu Musab al-Zarqawi's bombs killing 10,000. The U.S., bogged in Fallujah, lost 4,000 troops by 2011, their MRAPs shredded by IEDs. Iraq's 25 million, half jobless, turned to militias. Sunni-Shia rifts birthing ISIS by 2014. Bin Laden, in Abbottabad, watched America bleed, his tapes praising bankruptcy. In 2025, we see the misstep, but probe. Why chase ghosts in Iraq while Bin Laden hid in plain sight? The war on terror's tools, forged in panic, reshaped 2025's world. The Patriot Act, passed October 26, 2001, unleashed NSA's PRISM, scooping 5 billion calls daily, X posts tracked, privacy dead. Drones, 50 predators in 2001, grew to 10,000 by 2011. Their hellfires killing 2,500 jihadists, 900 civilians, each death a jihadist add. Guantanamo, opened 2002, caged 780, 26 innocent. Their torture. 183 waterboardings on Mohammed, yielding lies, not Bin Laden. Black sites, 119 detainees in Thailand, Poland, broke spirits, not cases. 2014 Senate reports exposing shame. The CIA's $15 billion budget, 2001 to 2011, dwarfed schools, hospitals, yet missed Bin Laden for 13 years. In 2025, we see the tech, but recoil. Why build systems that haunt the innocent? U.S.-Saudi relations, a dance of oil and denial, fueled the crucible. Saudi Arabia, with $300 billion in oil revenue by 2000, armed mujahideen in the 1980s, their Wahhabi clerics preaching jihad. Bin Laden, a Saudi scion, was their prodigal, his 1991 exile symbolic, funds flowing via Dubai. Post 9/11, 15 of 19 hijackers were Saudi, their passports raising alarms. Yet Bush flew 140 Saudi elites home, no questions. Riyadh, sharing Al-Qaeda files, raided cells, 500 arrests by 2005. But their mosques, 10,000 global, bred radicals. The U.S., buying $50 billion in Saudi oil yearly, ignored warnings. 20,000 Saudi youth joining jihad by 2000. In 2025, we see the pact, but demand. Why shield an ally whose faith fed terror? Pakistan's ISI, a $20 billion U.S. ally, was the war on terror's double agent. Since 2001, they took aid for bases, drones, yet sheltered Taliban leaders in Quetta, their 10,000 agents tipping Al-Qaeda. Bin Laden's Abbottabad hideout, 800 yards from a military academy, screamed complicity. The ISI's 1,000 local spies blind or bought. Post 9/11, Pakistan sweeps, 600 arrests, missed Zawahiri, safe in Karachi. Their army, 15,000 dead fighting Taliban, bled for show. Tribal areas a jihadist haven. The 2005 earthquake, 86,000 dead, opened Waziristan to CIA spies. but ISI leaks sent bin Laden to urban lairs. In 2025, we feel the betrayal, asking, why fund a friend who hid your enemy? The Muslim world's divisions, a 1.6 billion tapestry, were the war on terror's fuel. Sunni-Shia rifts, deepened by Iraq's chaos, birthed al-Qaeda's hate, 10,000 Sunnis joining by 2005. Palestine's 50-year occupation, 500,000 dead, was bin Laden's rallying cry, echoed in Cairo's cafes. Moderate scholars, Al-Azhar, 1,000 clerics, condemned jihad, but Pakistan's 10,000 madrasas, Saudi-funded, preached war. The Arab Spring 2011 ignored bin Laden, 20 million seeking jobs, not bombs. Yet al-Qaeda's ideas, anti-West, anti-modern, drew 20,000 youth, jobless, angry at US-backed tyrants. In 2025, we hear the voices, but question, why did the West's policies stoke the fire? Cultural impacts, a war on terror byproduct, scarred 2025. Islamophobia, spiking post 9/11, saw 1,000 US hate crimes by 2002. Mosques burned, Sikhs attacked. Hollywood's Zero Dark 30, glamorizing torture, grossed $100 million shaping minds. The Patriot Act, surveilling 300 million, birthed X's Big Brother rants, 50,000 threads by 2025. Guantanamo's images, orange jumpsuits, fueled jihadist propaganda, 10,000 recruits by 2010. In Europe, 5 million Muslims faced bans. France's 2004 hijab law, Denmark's 2005 cartoons, alienating youth to al-Qaeda's call. In 2025, we see the divide but ask, why let fear rewrite freedom? The war on terror's human toll, a ledger of grief, dwarfs bin Laden's crimes. Afghanistan's 20,000 civilian deaths, Iraq's 100,000, left 5 million orphans, their futures dust. US troops, 7,000 dead, 50,000 wounded, filled VA hospitals, PTSD claiming 20 suicides daily by 2011. Iraqi women, 1 million widowed, begged in Baghdad's streets. Afghan farmers, bombed by drones, joined Taliban, their $1,000 stipends survival. CIA agents, 50 dead, left families broken, their Langley Memorial wall etched with stars. Bin Laden's victims, 9/11's 2,977, Cole's 17, Embassy's 224, drove the hunt, but the war's 170,000 dead buried justice. In 2025, we mourn, but probe. Why did the innocent pay the war's price? Wrap up, the shadows end, the war's echoes. The hunt for Osama bin Laden is over. His body sunk in the Arabian Sea on May 2, 2011. 3 bullets ending a 13-year chase that began with the 1998 embassy bombings and peaked with 9/11's ashes. But as the dust settles in Abbottabad, the story doesn't end. It fractures, leaving a world scarred, divided, and hungry for truth. This wrap-up isn't a victory lap for the CIA's Operation Neptune Spear, or a requiem for bin Laden's jihad. It's a reckoning with the war on terror's $6 trillion cost, 170,000 civilian graves, and the secrets, redacted files, Pakistan's lies, X's 200,000 threads, that still haunt us in 2025. From bin Laden's rise in Jeddah to the SEAL's midnight raid, we've traced a saga of rage, betrayal, and power. Now, we pull it together, asking, was justice served, or did we trade one shadow for darker ones? We began in the introduction, painting bin Laden as a ghost who haunted the world, his 9/11 attack, 2,977 dead, towers fallen, igniting a $1 trillion manhunt. From 1998's embassy bombings to 2011's raid, the CIA, SEALs, and drones chased a phantom, their moral compass fraying. Guantanamo's cages, drone strikes, fake vaccine drives. In 2025, we frame this not as history, but a mirror. Why did 13 years yield one death, yet spawn endless wars? The question lingers, its weight heavier now as we reflect on a world reshaped by fear, surveillance, and vengeance. X posts screaming for 4,000 hidden documents. The hunt wasn't just for a man, it was for meaning, and we're still searching. Then we looked at bin Laden's roots, a Saudi billionaire's son born in 1957, his childhood of privilege turning to jihad in Afghanistan's 1979 crucible, his $25 million fueled mujahideen, his Al-Qaeda, founded 1988, weaponizing faith against the West. The 1998 embassy bombings, 224 dead, 2,000 USS Cole, 17 sailors, and 9/11, 2,977, weren't just attacks. They were declarations. His tapes taunting America's weak horses. Saudi Arabia's Wahhabi clerics, US-backed, fed his ideology. Their $200 billion oil empire silent as 15 Saudi hijackers struck. In 2025, we see his ascent, but ask, why did allies, from Riyadh to Langley, let a monster grow under their watch? The shadow rose, and its darkness wasn't his alone. The global dragnet plunged into the CIA's chase, a 1998-2010 odyssey of spies, drones, and missteps. Alex Station's 25 analysts, underfunded, missed bin Laden's Tora Bora escape in 2001. Warlords bribed with $1 million opening Pakistan's border. Drones, 7,000 by 2010, killed 900 civilians, their hellfires recruiting jihadists. NSA's Prism, scooping 5 billion calls, lagged behind bin Laden's couriers, like Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, whose 2010 SUV led to Abbottabad. Torture, 183 waterboardings, yielded lies, not leads. The 2010 vaccine scam costing Pakistan's polio fight, 3,000 kids paralyzed. In 2025, we marvel at the tech, but recoil. Why did $15 billion in spycraft lose to one man's cunning? And why did the innocent pay? Operation Neptune's Spear, the May 2nd, 2011 raid, was the hunt's climax. 24 SEALs storming a $1 million compound, their silenced M4s ending bin Laden at 1:10 a.m. The crashed Black Hawk, Intelligence Hall, 10 terabytes, and Sea Burial were a blur. Pakistan humiliated, their ISI's denials laughable, 800 yards from a military academy. Controversies, torture's debunked role, no body shown, 4,000 classified files, Fuel X's conspiracies, 200,000 posts claiming bin Laden lives. The SEALs, like Robert O'Neill, carried PTSD, their brotherhood strained by leaks. In 2025, we honor their grit, but probe. Why rush the body's disposal, unless truth was the real casualty? The historical context set the hunt in the War on Terror's furnace, from the 1979 Soviet invasion to 2011's wars. The US's $3 billion arming of mujahideen birthed Al-Qaeda, Saudi Arabia's Wahhabism its fuel. 9/11 sparked Afghanistan's $500 billion quagmire, Iraq's $800 billion lie, 170,000 civilians dead, no WMDs. The Patriot Act, Guantanamo's 780 detainees. Drones' 900 civilian kills reshaped 2025. Prism spies, 7 billion. X rages at Big Brother. Pakistan's ISI paid $20 billion, hid Taliban, bin Laden cozy in Abbottabad. In 2025, we see the crucible, but demand, why did the West's wars feed the jihad they fought? Now, standing in 2025, we weigh the hunt's cost, a ledger written in blood, dollars, and trust. The war on terror, $6 trillion adjusted, dwarfs Apollo's moonshot, yet left 170,000 civilians dead. Afghan farmers, Iraqi mothers, their names forgotten in Pentagon briefs. U.S. troops, 7,000 dead, 50,000 wounded. Fill VA wards. 20 suicides daily by 2011. Their sacrifice noble but hollowed by Iraq's WMD farce. CIA agents, 50 fallen, left stars on Langley's wall. Their kids fatherless for a chase that took 13 years. Bin Laden's victims, 9/11's 2,077, Cole's 17, Embassy's 224. Drove the rage, but the war's toll, 5 million displaced, buried justice under rubble. In 2025, we mourn, but ask, why did the hunt's price fall on those who never chose the fight? The financial cost, a $6 trillion abyss, starved what could have healed. By 2011, the U.S. spent $1 trillion on Afghanistan, $800 billion on Iraq, $15 billion on the CIA's hunt, enough for 10 million teachers, 50,000 hospitals, 100 green grids. Drones, 25,000 global by 2025, cost $10 billion yearly. Their 2,000 civilian deaths since 2011, a jihadist gift. The Patriot Act's Prism, $5 billion annually, spies on 7 billion, X's 50,000 threads raging at lost privacy. Pakistan, paid $20 billion, built Gwadar's port with China, their loyalty sold. In 2025, we tally the waste, but probe. Why spend a nation's future to chase one man, when his ideas outlived him? The moral cost, a stain on history, haunts 2025's soul. Guantanamo, 780 detained, 26 innocent. Their torture, waterboarding, stress positions, broke bodies, not bin Laden's hideout, 2014. Senate reports exposing lies. Black sites, 119 souls in Thailand's shadows, yielded propaganda, not leads. Al-Qaeda's 10,000 recruits by 2010 fed by orange jumpsuits. The CIA's vaccine scam, 2010, snagged bin Laden's DNA but spiked Pakistan's polio. 3,000 kids crippled, tribes shunning needles. Drone strikes, 900 civilians dead by 2011, turned allies to enemies. 70% of Pakistanis anti-US, Pew polls show. In 2025, we shudder, but demand. Why trade ethics for expediency when the cost was trust? Pakistan's role, a betrayal carved in Abbottabad's walls, festers in 2025. The ISI, 1,000 agents in town, missed a $1 million compound 800 yards from their academy. Bin Laden there since 2005. General Ashfaq Kayani's incompetence claim crumbles. 2011 cables show ISI safe houses hid Zawahiri. Pakistan paid $20 billion, ran Taliban leaders in Quetta, their F-16s idle as SEALs raided. Locals, 100 questioned, feared ISI reprisals, their silence a military state's norm. In 2025, X posts, 20,000 since 2011, scream ISI knew, hypothetical leaks suggesting a US ISI deal to stage the raid. We see the duplicity, but ask, why fund a friend who sheltered your foe? The Sea Burial, a 4:00 a.m. ritual on the USS Carl Vinson, is 2025's loudest mystery. Bin Laden's body, DNA confirmed, was shrouded, sunk in the Arabian Sea. No grave to spark a shrine. No photos, no video, no helmet cams released. 4,000 documents locked. CIA's Glomar response a wall. X, 200,000 threads since 2011, spins conspiracies. Bin Laden's alive in Yemen, a double killed. A CIA psyop to exit Afghanistan. In 2025, we weigh the choice, but probe. Why hide proof, unless the truth was too messy? What if Bin Laden was captured, interrogated? Would his words have exposed allies' sins, or lit new fires? Al-Qaeda's legacy, not Bin Laden's death, shapes 2025's wars. Zawahiri, leading post-2011, decentralized cells. Syria, Somalia, Mali. 10,000 fighters by 2015. ISIS, born in Iraq's chaos, peaked at 30,000. Their 2014 caliphate killing 50,000. Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram, 30,000 annual deaths. Use TikTok, sharper than Bin Laden's tapes. The raid's intelligence haul, 10 terabytes, foiled 50 plots. London, Dubai, but 70% remains classified. Hints of Saudi donors, ISI ties buried. Al-Qaeda's ideas, anti-West, anti-modern, thrive in Yemen's madrasas. 20,000 youth joining since 2011. In 2025, we see the Hydra, but ask, why did Bin Laden's death not end his war, but birth its clones? Global perceptions, split by the hunt, linger in 2025. New York's 9/11 families, 5,000 at Ground Zero, found closure. But 20% feel cheated, no body shown. Saudi Arabia, 20% of youth per 2011 polls, called Bin Laden martyr, their mosques whispering jihad. Pakistan's 80%, Gallup 2011, distrusted Obama, 20,000 protesting the raid. Cairo's Arab Spring, 20 million strong, ignored Bin Laden, chasing jobs, not bombs. Europe's 5 million Muslims faced bans. France's hijab law, Denmark's cartoons, 10,000 youth joining jihad by 2015. In 2025, we see the divide, but ask, why did one death heal some, but radicalize others? Cultural shifts, the war on terror's scars, define 2025. Islamophobia, 1,000 US hate crimes by 2002, burns mosques, Sikhs attacked. Hollywood's Zero Dark 30, $100 million gross, glamorized torture, shaping minds. The Patriot Act, surveilling 300 million, birthed X's Big Brother rants. 200,000 threads by 2025. Guantanamo's jumpsuits, 780 detained, fueled 10,000 jihadist recruits. In 2025, we see the rift, but demand, why let fear rewrite freedom when unity was the goal? The hunt's heroes, from SEALs to civilians, paid dearly. O'Neill, PTSD racked, lost his marriage, the kill, shot a curse. CIA's Jennifer Matthews, 45, died in 2009's Camp Chapman blast, her kids orphaned for a lead. Afghan civilians, 20,000 dead, buried dreams in drone strikes. Pakistani tribes, 35,000 killed. Turned to jihad, their kids ISIS's fodder. In 2025, we honor their pain, but probe. Why did the brave bear the war's weight, while planners hid in Langley's shadows? The future, 2025's horizon, is the hunt's final test. AI drones, 10,000 by 2030, bomb without humans, their algorithms blind to innocence. Cyber terror, Al-Qaeda's next frontier, hacks grids. 2024's Dubai blackout, a warning. X 1 billion users, drives truth. FOIAs for CIA files, 50,000 petitions since 2011, but also lies. Conspiracies viral. The $6 trillion spent, starving climate, health, echoes K129's claw. A choice to chase ghosts over hope. In 2025, we see the path, but ask, why repeat a war's mistakes when truth could light the way? This hunt, from Jeddah's palaces to Abbottabad's blood, wasn't just a manhunt, it was a mirror. Bin Laden's death didn't end terror. It birthed ISIS, drones, a spied-on world. The CIA's raid, Pakistan's lies, 4,000 hidden files. They're not history. They're 2025's fight. Secrets Unleashed doesn't close the book. We tear it open for 170,000 dead, for truths locked in vaults. The desert hides answers, but we're digging. Keep seeking, truth seekers, for the shadows we can't outrun.